setting up Heartless Crew at that early age, my vision was not just like playing music. It was a business. It was like, you understand, like we wanted. I've always been of like the world's not enough type thing. I'm a big James Bond fan, and I've always been like.
Hello and welcome back to Conversations with myself, Francis Koh. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have another exciting show ahead. Very much looking forward to this one. My next guest is a talented MC, a songwriter from North London who has worked in the music industry for 30 years. Not many people can say this. He's the founder and frontman for the infamous group, the Heartless Crew, which has paved the way for grime music. As a group, they have signed to a BBC One Extra. They hosted a weekly radio show. They've achieved a top 20 hit in the UK charts with their debut single and a number 3 spot for their first UK compilation charts. Their accomplishments also include being nominated for a Mobile Award and receiving the UMA Award for their contribution to music within the UK. Again, not many artists can say this. He has shared the stage with many international acclaimed artists, having headlined numerous events including Garage Nation Festival and the O2 Academy in Leicester. In 2013, he went on to pursue a solo career as a recording artist and has performed all over the world representing garage scene and the UK. He has also started his own record label, Bushkin Recordings, where he works with new artists and nurtures them to develop their talent. Unlike most record labels, his main focus is to support the artists with their personal development, professional growth, and help them towards success. His most recent venture is a creation of his own TV show where he discusses music and allows artists to showcase their talent, which is very much missing within the UK. Please allow me to welcome to the show the man who has the secret in staying relevant in the music industry, Bushkin himself.
Hey. Yes, yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, intro, boy. Yeah, like, oh, okay, yeah. No, go on, man. Big up, man. Love that, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me as well, man.
No, thank you for coming.
No, it's a blessing, man. God is good.
First and foremost, before we dive into anything, I have to ask a question. Yeah. What is the secret to staying relevant?
I don't think there's any real secret to it, you know. Or I mean, if it's a secret, I'm about to bear all. To be honest with you, I think it's just about loving what you do. It's just, that's for me. It's just that. It's just literally loving what I do, you understand, and just having a passion for stuff, you understand, wanting more, not being satisfied. I'm looking for change, you understand. I'm just looking for new, fresh ideas. In the morning, I want to get up, I want to get out, you understand? I'm excited for the day, I'm excited about life. So yeah, man, that's my secret there. I mean, if anyone can relate to it or, you understand, they want to also make that their secret, then please be my guest, man.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, energy. Your energy, I remember as a youngster, I found myself in one of your raves. I was like, where am I? And the funny thing is, there's just something that you're blessed with. I don't know if you learned this or it's just something that comes with you. You captivated everyone. It's like you transcended everyone on your frequency and everyone was sweating.
It's weird because I've kind of always had that energy, but it's something more in the more recent years I've started to understand it and look into it a bit more deeply and really understand it and actually really harness it. And also now kind of, I don't want to say be careful because it's not really about being careful, but it's just more understanding it and having wisdom about it, you understand? And realizing it is precious, you understand? And you've got to use it wisely, not sparingly, but wisely.
Yeah, because as you said, wisely with the energy as well. I guess what helped you is, we go back to your Heartless days, still are Heartless by the way, but back in then when you was leading the raving scene, your two brothers beside you.
Yeah.
It seemed effortless.
Look, when you're enjoying stuff, like I'm a very, everyone uses the word organic and stuff like that, but I'm a very natural person and always have been. Like, if you don't have to try hard to do something. With me, if I have to try hard to do things, I leave it alone, because you shouldn't have to try hard at anything. You understand? If you're enjoying it and you're having fun, it's natural. When you're doing things with a smile, you're enjoying it. That's the state you're supposed to be in. You understand? Me, if it's something, if I have to overthink something, or nah, leave it alone. That's not really connected. But I mean, everyone's different. But for me, I just like natural things, things that flow. I'm like all about kind of following the nature and just how things just naturally go. You understand? And if you could follow natural stuff, then yeah, life is effortless, because you don't have to try. You don't have to try to walk. You don't have to breathe. You breathe anyway. You don't have to try to breathe.
It's interesting you say that with the industry you work in, because the pressure's high. How can one be in that state of mind, and how do you get to that? How do you derive to that with everything that's going on?
Happiness is the key to success, ultimately. But like, prior to this, I ran up in a loving household, and I had a really good support network around me. My grandma played a very big influence on my life. You understand? Also, my mum, they installed some really great values into me. You understand? My mum always said, "You're the head and not the tail." And certain things that really just prepared me subconsciously for the world. You understand? And then on top of this, I was like a very happy baby. But my mum said that when she was carrying me, she was happy, she was in her elements and stuff. And this plays a big part to children. So again, to the baby mothers out there and the baby fathers, you understand? When you're going through relationships and you're having a baby, whether you're doing it singly or doubled up, you understand? That how you're carrying the baby, that what you're going through, your thoughts and your energies, the baby's in you, the baby's part of you, and the baby's picking up on that. And you understand? My mum said that when she was carrying me, she was having the time of her life, and you understand? So I got that natural vibe and chemistry. Plus, I'm a Gemini. Geminis we're air signs. Like again, and not to blow our own trumpets, but Geminis have got away with words. They're very good communicators. You understand? Then again, natural people, so they know how to incorporate things, and you understand? We're people's persons. A lot of the great artists, you understand, are Geminis for this reason. You understand? So the Kanye West, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Lauryn Hill, James Brown. I think Marilyn Monroe's a Gemini. There's loads of, like, if people do their own research, and they'll see that a lot of these artists who we all revere, a lot of them are Geminis, you understand, for this same reason.
That's interesting. I never did know that.
Yeah, like Dr. Psycho, I think he was a Gemini as well. MJ from Invasion Crew, he's a Gemini. Like a lot of the mic mans and the hype mans, and they're Geminis still, you understand? There's a lot more, like Juki Mundo's one, there's loads in our UK scene as well.
Don't worry, you Scorpions like me. We'll find our own lane. We'll find our own lane somewhere.
No, Scorpions are very intelligent, one of the most intelligent star signs.
You heard it from the main man himself.
That's right, Scorpio, yeah.
No.
Everyone's got their little techers, you understand? But again, it's aligning yourself. It's from the Bible, you understand? And I always like correlate things to the Bible. Know thyself. It's one of the most important lines. So when you know yourself, ultimately it's like you can really get forward in life. A lot of people are not taking the time out to actually know themselves. And even if they are knowing themselves, they're not following what they know. Because that's another thing. One, knowing yourself. And then two, actually following what you now know about yourself. So a lot of people are fighting their own inner self. You understand? That's, if you're that way inclined and this is what you like and that's what you draw to, follow that, because that's your passion. That's where you're going to find things easy. If you're going against that, you're going to make it difficult for yourself.
It's very interesting to say that, know thyself, because I believe these days it's harder because of the social media, even things like your Amazon, your Netflix.
Exactly, yeah.
We want things quick. How can, first and foremost, how do I then start the process of getting to know myself?
The first thing is you need to spend time by yourself, with yourself. You need to understand yourself, understand your own thoughts. You need solitude. You understand? A lot of people these days, like, people don't take the time out for themselves. They are not loving themselves. And again, the world is a bit twisted, because if you like people say, oh, you're selfish, and that's a bad thing. But selfish is not a bad thing. You understand? They've twisted that round and made it backwards. Selfish is a good thing. You have to be selfish. You need to be selfish for yourself. You need to give yourself that time, that love, you understand? That attention. You need to give that to yourself first. And in doing that, you're going to get to know yourself. You know what you like and what you don't like. You understand? But what happens these days, and just like you said, and it is more tricky these days, there's so many things going on. Girls, baby mum, your parents, Amazon, Twitter, Instagram, trainers, garms, sex, raves, bang, this, that, your virgins, man want to rob you, selling this, you smoke weed, bang, there's a whole bag of things. So before you blink, you get up and then it's like, boom, the day's done. And you ain't had no time out, you understand, whether you want to call it a time to meditate or to just to sit in your own thoughts, just to like process that. How am I actually feeling now? Like, you know them one day, like, how am I actually feeling? Sometimes you need to ask yourself the questions like, what is going on at the moment? How do I feel? What's actually happening in my life right now? Slow it down.
That's very powerful. And you also get the thing where, which I believe a lot of younger generation, even some people in the later on in life, we suffer from not having authentic conversations. So one, I'm speaking to friends who don't know themselves, so therefore they don't know me, and a conversation, there's no substance to that.
Exactly.
And I think that would help, because if me and you are having an intellectual conversation, while we're speaking, triggers will go on in my head, and you're gonna raise my vibrations and move on. So that's powerful.
Again, people are, and it's not even sad to say it, because it's just what a lot of people are lost out there because they're not taking the time to get to know themselves. And then again, people are bamboozling each other. You understand? You're coming around and it's like you're saying stuff that you don't really mean. And social media is the killer for that. It's like poisoning people. A lot of these memes and stuff like that, and they're saying all sorts of stuff, and it's like, oh, really? And people take it in and sucking it off, and it's like, no, it's just misleading them. But again, what the main thing what I try and like pride myself in, you can't really help everyone, and in a way you can't even help people. What you do need to do is help yourself first. Again, be selfish to yourself. You understand? Put yourself first, and then you can lead out by example, and people can see what you're doing, and then they can, like, if they want to, cotton on, you understand, to that and follow the example, and then interpret and do what they're doing with it. God himself, and this is what my mum taught me from being very young, and it's like, my mum was a brilliant, and still is, I shouldn't say was, she's a brilliant teacher, you understand? She's actually a teacher anyway, by profession as well. But I mean, growing up in life, she wasn't a teacher back then, but she just had so much life skills and knowledge. And she's just, like, she was very good in educating me about girls and stuff like that. And I remember her saying to me, listen, don't try and change them, girl, you know, you can't change them. And she, you know, we talk and whatever, and she said to me, listen, God himself, don't try and change anyone. He didn't make, the one thing what he done, the intent, what was great, he gave everyone freedom of choice, their own free will to think. He doesn't even force people to follow him. If they want to follow him, it's up to them. He puts the bits and bobs there. If they want to follow him, he follows. He says, you can't force them to do anything. You can't control people. You understand? God himself isn't trying to control anyone. You understand? If you want to follow him and worship him, you can. If you don't, by all means, you can go and get on with it. You understand? And these are the little gems that she taught me. You understand? So it's not even like, even now in life, I ain't trying to go way out of my way to try and help people, because often you do that and it's a detriment to yourself. In a sense, you've got to be very careful in that. People don't need help, so to speak.
That's very true, because I know a lot of people are in sticky situations because their intentions was to help someone, even though they knew it went against them. But again, going back to what you alluded to earlier, they don't know themselves, so they think that's what they want. So that's very interesting you're saying that. So with you, it's evident that your mum played a big part in for you growing up. When obviously you known for music, when did music get in your system? How young?
Around, I think I was probably about 11, 12. Like music was always around music because again it's that Caribbean family, you know. You're going you're going to the christenings and party and run up and down and you're fighting, you're sliding along the halls and things like that, and the music's just in the background, so it's that natural. It's a natural kind of thing. You get me? But my older brother, big up Mr. P, he had a sound system and he took up me and my cousin Fergie they had a rave in the YMCA and they were playing and like I had a little bit of lyrics. It was like a comedian thing, but it was like a little lyrics basically. And like one of my brother's friends just give me the mic and make me drop the lyrics in the party. So my brother's like 4 years older than me, so I think they were around 15, 16, and them type of ages there. The girls and all the partying going on, and my brother and them lot. And I must have chat the lyrics and it just burst the place. You understand? Like, because obviously I'm so young, you know, they just like give you that hype or whatever. And I chat the lyrics, you understand? And the place just burst. And then I had all the girls and come, oh, that was wicked. And they said, oh, your brother's so cute. And from that, I just said, yo, this little vibes here, this is for me. Like, yeah, I like this energy here. And then, yeah, man, you ended up with a cool hype. And so I didn't really have much lyrics, but I just knew that I liked that energy, you understand? And then I built up, and so that was probably before I went secondary school. Might have been probably just prior to going to secondary school. And when I went to secondary school, I linked up with Fonty, who was an actual musician. Fonty is like, I'm a vibes man. Fonty was an actual musician. He was like the music man of the school, you understand? Play steel pan. He could MC, he could sing, he could do everything. Fonty again is Scorpion, you understand, like yourself. You understand? And there's nothing Fonty cannot do. The man is like a wizard. Like he's a bad man at everything. You understand? But also music. He could read music, he could play that trumpet, he could play everything. The man just a cold cat. So I linked up with Fonty in school and I was like, yeah, my brother's got a sound and whatever. Fonty was into music. He was a dancer. He's doing all the bowl dance and that kind of shit. All over it. Had the lean top haircut and all them things there. And I was like, yeah, man, let's start a sound system.
So originally it was just the two of you.
Well, and when there was three, there was me, Fonty, and Ogwan. Ogwan was in my class as well. So it's like, yeah, Ogwan, David Ogwan, Sootman, next bad man, Brainbox. Ogwan was a Brainbox, you understand?
So at this time, you're just doing it for fun, entertaining, because Fonty's a music man, you're a hype man. How did that then take it to the next stage with the third member at the time as well?
So yeah, all three of us. I mean, me, I was like a hype man in school. Ogwan was like a brain box. You understand? He's like he's a clever brain box. He came from Uganda. And he was in the books. Vibes, he was a vibes man as well, but he had the knowledge, you understand? So I was like, all right, Ogwan, you got the book headspace. Fonty, you're a music man. And I'm a vibes man, gel, you understand? I was like, this tree here.
You're the bridge.
Yeah, I said, this little energy between us lot. You understand? So even at setting up Heartless Crew at that early age, my vision was not just like playing music. It was a business. It was like, you understand? Like I've always been of like the world's not enough type thing. I'm a big James Bond fan, and I've always been like, what's next? Yeah, and I've always been an entrepreneur. I was in school, I was working at the ice cream van. I was hustling. Oh, give me 20p, I'll put you in the front of the queue. Selling pouches. I might clap a man's chocolate. Oh, that's going in the submarine bag. That don't come out.
Hold on. Like, 20p, I'll put you in front of the queue.
Yeah.
How did that work? What about the guy who's in front of the queue?
What is it? Okay, now look at it. Even when you say that, it's like, boy, it's shabby, but this is, how school goes, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you can do this. I'm working, this is my job. I work at the ice cream van, putting the line together. That was my job. I worked at the ice cream van. The man, George, big up George. Like, he see me, I was a man, everyone knew me and I'm a vibe, I'm kind of controlling certain things and whatever. And he's like, when the pips used to go, he used to be going mad, he's like going red and spit, like, calm down, stop. And he couldn't serve everyone. So he was like, you know what, you get everyone in order and sort everything out basically. So he can just do his job and it's nice and calm. And I'm running. So when the pips come, it's like, I'm getting everyone in order. Pips, people want to buy their thing, but a man might come and I'm saying, boy, give me a 20p now and I'll push you to the front at the end.
Yeah.
Because you got to go in, you understand? So everyone there.
So how was you getting paid from George?
George is paying me. He paid
Cash?
Yes.
And 20p's extra on
Of
side?
course.
Okay.
I'm clean. Above them time, I was making good money in school. Like I love school. Plus George was giving me a hamburger, popcorn and ice bowl. You understand? So I'd get my lunch. You understand? I'll sell the hamburgers, I never eat them. You understand? So I'll sell that my hamburger, sell my dinner ticket. You understand? Eat the popcorn, what you give me, and the ice bowl. You understand? And I'm nice.
Wow, that's amazing. So from young, you always had a vision, and the vision has come true. So when was then Heartless officially introduced to the world?
I mean, we started in 92. Like our first flyer is in 92. Our first flyer up to date we've got is dated 1992. But we was obviously vibing before that. But so that is our first like inception, if you want to say, 1992 first flyer. By 95, so probably we left school 95. We said 95. I think that summer there we started to collect some more heat around the ends, and like we was kind of hot boys in our area. But then I think 95, 96 we played in Chimes. That's when we started to play in Chimes. So we kind of come out of North London now. We're in East London, we're playing in a club. Before that we was playing in a little club, but it's like Chai Centre and youth clubs type thing. Now we're actually in a club, so that was a monument for us. And a lot of people, they think we're from East London because they think Chimes, Heartless Crew. Yeah. But so that was a good step for us, and we was on proper flyers now. We played alongside Rampage by like 96. And so now we're starting to get a name outside.
Let's go back a touch. Where does Mighty Mo come into this? Because at first was you,
Ogwan and Fonty. That's
so
right. And funny enough, there was a couple other men around that time there, but we was a nucleus, and then you had Rudy, MC Major, and then you had like, a couple other men dipped in, dipped out, Jamming, Babyface. You understand? They dipped in and dipped out.
Yeah.
So 95, when we left school, it was where that happened. I went Southgate College. I went with all the rude boys and the Tottenham boys back then. All the bad breeds went to Southgate College that year. And then Fonty and Mo went to sit in Islington.
Okay.
You understand? So Fonty and Ogwan went to sit in Islington.
Yeah.
And they met Mo there. You understand? And then like probably within maybe the first year of college, Ogwan wanted to pursue more the educational road. So he kind of drew back out. But what it was, Ogwan was a hip hop DJ. So by this time we kind of had our positions as well. Ogwan was the hip hop DJ. And Mo was also like a bedroom hip hop DJ back then. And them two kind of linked. Obviously for Fonty as well, but that Ogwan and Mo more had the link. And then Ogwan kind of fell back and brought Mo in to kind of replace himself, because they were doing the similar music. So now Ogwan fall back, Mo come in now. So it's now kind of me, Fonty, and Mo. And then Ogwan kind of eased out. We still had MC Rudy and Major.
Okay.
You know, so they were the MCs. So they were the MCs prior to me and Mighty Mo. Because I was a DJ and Mo was a DJ, funny enough.
And then one thing about your lyrics, you make them so effortless. Like when you on the mic, yeah, I can do that. It's only when I try, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. But you're happy, you're smiling, you're vibing with it. And people don't even realize that the hard work and the craft that goes into that. Can you touch on that? What does it take to be at the level where you are happy with yourself? If you ever get to a level that you're happy with yourself.
Everyone just sees the end product. And again, sometimes the entrepreneurs will know the iceberg theory, where it's like, it's a lot of, there's a lot more underneath the water than you see that's actually above the water. And that's what it is with MCing. And I think with most of these crafts, you understand, sports and stuff like that, you spend hours learning, practicing. My son plays football, and I tell him now, all the time, put all your time into football. If you want to be a footballer, put your every second into it. Any second you can spare, put it into football. That's what I done to get me to where I am. You understand? There was times when I was going out I wouldn't go out. There's times my friends knocking for me, I'm staying in. There's times when they knock for me and I do go out and I've got my pen and my paper there and I'm in the back of the car and I'm reciting lyrics non-stop. I used to do it all the time. One of my friends, Evil King, you mentioned him a couple of lyrics, and back in the day, I used to be with him all the time. And he would constantly say, oh, shut up, man. Flipping, don't you ever stop. But I used to just chat lyrics, and when I mean, it was like nonsense. 2 glasses on the table, water in the glass, one's half, one's jam, da da da. It was just, but it necessarily didn't rhyme, but I was just saying it, practicing constantly. And just like they say, it takes 10,000 hours to make a professional. You understand? I must have done more than 10,000 anyway, but I will just continue. I don't practice now in the way I used to practice then, but I'm doing it so regularly. And my mind's still on practice mode. I'm always on practice. It's just practice. It's practice. And this is one of the things that made Heartless, like, when you talk about effortless, and I got a big up front in mode because teamwork makes the dream work. You understand? So as much as I'm taking credit, them man, they deserve all the credit in the world as well.
So they're like the iceberg theory you talk about. There's so much in the background. They're working hard. Like, most of the time, we're not even seeing Fonty.
Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes more is beside you, but again, because we see you, so we think they're not working. They are working.
The men are working, and they're working, and they've done their work. People don't. They say other part people. They've done their work. You understand? Them man want to sit down and put their feet up now. They're more than entitled because they have worked. I can vouch for them both. Fonty, you would know this yourself, being a Scorpion, and there's things that run parallel with star signs in this regardless. Fonty's brain, he's an intelligent brother. The man, he works things out. Sometimes that's the thing, you can be almost too intelligent sometimes because some things don't need working out. They just, you understand?
Yeah.
But he works things out. The sets and stuff, when you realize it's precision, and you realize it's like bang, bang. It's not by accident.
It's not.
Because he knows his thing. Me, I'm a cowboy, I'm rough around the edges. I just bash in, whatever. Fonty is a precision man. Like, he knows his things. He knows, and before he's got the knowledge. The good thing with Fonty, he's a vibes man. You understand? He's got the vibes, natural vibes, but he understands whatever it is. He understands it. He can read music, so he can hear that it's out, and he can tell you what's out. You understand? He's got both sides of the thing. You understand? He can mix the tunes. He can hear what's going to mix with what prior to mixing the tunes. That he's got that prior knowledge. He's a bad man. You understand? So nothing can really by accident with him. He's thought it out and, you understand, gone through it in his mind. You understand? He's highly talented. And again, likewise, Mo. They're two very, very talented brothers.
So I think we've got the perfect person, because I always say this. The youngsters nowadays, they don't know what it is to rave. They think they're raving. They really think they are raving. Now, we have the perfect person to describe what raving was like. Can you please tell them, Bushkin, in as much word as you, what is raving?
I'm gonna break it down to you because raving starts before you get to the rave. And this is one of the key elements that people are missing now. There's the whole excitement of buying a ticket, gassing it up with friends. This is before social media, you understand? You're buying a ticket, you understand? You're going to the record shop, you're buying your ticket, you're going out shopping to buy your garms, you understand? To get ready for that particular rave, you understand? It's a whole thing. You understand? You ain't gone nowhere, but you're just excited. You're gassed up. You got your new garms. You understand? You know what you're wearing. You understand? These days people just get up and they're going raving. It's got no razzmatazz to it. Them time it's like, yes, all right, I'm going here, telepathy. This is what I'm wearing. You're planning it 2 weeks in advance.
You and your boys.
Exactly, yeah, boy, I'm wearing this. I want to do that. You're gassed up, boy, I'm looking to, boy, I'm going to chat this girl up. I'm going to get this number. Boy, I'm looking to dance with 6 girl on that night. That boy, where. You understand? Before you go, if you smoke, them times you say smoke, you understand? You've got your own herbs. You know what? Bring your own herbs, bring your own cigarette, bring your Rizzler. Don't ask me to build nothing for you. I'm not palming nothing. I'm raving. That's how excited we was about raving, because it's not about them trying to, man said, learn to build your own zoo. I'm not palming nothing for you in a rave because I'm going to rave. I'm not trying to stand up and I'm looking to dance with a gal, and that excitement. This is before you even got to rave. You know, so that's all prior. On the day you're getting ready to go to a rave, you're getting dressed up, you're swagged up, you're calling your brethren, link up, everyone link up, petrol station, convoy down to the rave. You understand? Muscle through the queue, you understand? All of this before you even got into the rave. But it's all epic. Hype, you understand, your gas. And when you're in the rave, you understand, you got your juice, you make sure as soon as you land, buy your drink, you understand, you got your thing. After all, we used to pre-roll our things and moves it and go in there. It cuts down your time of nonsense, so you've got time to rave.
You're raving.
You're just going to rave, because when you can rave, again, nowadays, what's killed it as well is social media and the radio. Back then, certain of the big tunes, you never catch them on radio too hard. So you have to go rave to hear them properly.
And you had to be there.
Exactly. You can't miss out. You got to be there. It's like, and when you're there, you're hearing, one of the best elements of raving was going to a rave and hearing a tune you've never heard before and shocking out and going crazy to that tune, and then going home and trying to hum it and say, bruv, do you remember that tune that Andy C played? Oh my gosh, but what was that? No, I want that. Oh my, that tune. And you're trying to remember that tune, and you want to hear that tune again. You ain't necessarily hearing it on radio, because they were smart in the way they weren't playing certain tunes. They're waiting to the rave to bust the big certain tunes. It's just like, wow, you got to go to the next rave. Raving was a culture. It was a thing. When you're in the rave, you're raving. I remember coming at raves, sweating. Yeah. You understand? You're actually sweated out. Gal sweat out their weave. You're whining with gal. Even to jungle, them time there was that big jungle waves. Thursday to Sunday, we were raving jungle. Fonty, me and man like Fonty, I can vouch for. There's a couple other man. A lot of these artists, they weren't about. I'll be real, a lot of these artists nowadays, they weren't about, so they can't even project their music in that way, because they don't know that they've missed that whole element of raving, and a lot of these men are recluse. A lot of these artists are recluse, and there's nothing wrong with it, that's who they are. But they missed it.
And you in there, and you see Bushkin doing his thing.
Raving.
You weren't, I don't know what you were doing. I don't know if you was working or raving.
That's it.
I don't know.
Again, this is what they say. Pick a job that you love and you're never going to work a day in your life. And there was truth in it. I love what I do. So when I'm doing it, it's going to be a very blurred line. Like, is my man actually working? Or what's he doing? He's just having fun.
It looks like you're having fun.
And I am genuinely just having fun.
And that's what I mean. So I think I can do that.
Yeah, and you
until I get there, I'm like, no.
You're working. Anyone can do it. It's going to take a lot of time, and most people haven't got the patience, tenacity to sit down in their bedroom and do it. You understand? And take that time. And nowadays, when I was doing it, luckily, there wasn't so many distractions. You had one or two girls, but things were a lot smaller, tighter net. You understand? You're in your area. You got a couple area dons. You understand? Ain't really out there so much, you understand? You're on bus, you're on train and whatever, but it's kind of more small. Now there's so many things. The internet's vast. You can be here, you can chat to someone in Japan, you can be on the internet all day, every day. You've got computers, you're playing man in Thailand or wherever else. You understand? So you're wrapped in. You're wrapped up. Yeah, you're wrapped up.
Talking about the hard work you put in, I had the pleasure of working with you. What, 9 years ago, and and I saw your work ethic is like, you was on my case. Francis, we need to be there at it. Francis, I'm like, yeah, okay. But your work ethic is relentless, and I'm believing this is the reason why you're still relevant today. Like, you literally, what you put on, and you've managed to evolve. How was it a conscious decision for you to evolve through time and stay relevant? Or is that just say, you know what, I need to do what I'm doing? Because a lot, no disrespect to a lot of people doing what you're doing, but at the height of what you lot were doing, a lot of them, they're not as heavily in the scene as you are? Because now that the raves are opening up,
Yeah.
even in the last 3 weeks, I'm just saying Heartless, 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 Heartless. What is the process to staying current and staying relevant?
Staying relevant, what I say? It's again, wanting to, for me, it was conscious. I think it's actually, for me, it's both conscious and unconscious in a way. I love doing what I'm doing. I'm always like interested in what's happening out in the world and in the scene, you understand? So I'm kind of always evolving, you understand? I'm always looking for change. I always want new heights, you understand? I want to find new successes. I want new buzzes and adrenaline rushes. So for me, it's like, it's like, that's just naturally how I am anyway. At the same time, I want to keep up. I want to be ahead, in fact. I don't even keep up. I want to set trends. I want to be different, you understand? So it's like, okay, cool, I've done that. I've got kind of, MC-wise, I got to quite a pinnacle as an MC. There's not very much as an MC we've not done as Heartless Crew, and we've done this stage with this one, we've done that, and we've done the other. So it's like, okay, cool, I've done that. What's the next challenge? You understand? I want to do this artist thing. Artist to me as well, it gives you a lot more longevity than an MC. You understand? So that was the conscious part of it. You understand? The unconscious is like, well, you know what? I'm always want to strive. I want to succeed. I want to be better. I want to better myself naturally as a person. The conscious part is like, okay, MCing, this is the span of an MC. An artist, the span of an artist is completely different. You understand? Like I mentioned James Brown earlier. James Brown was up singing, dancing, performing well in his 70s. Shelling. Tina Turner, the same, you understand? And there's more. Mick Jagger and all these men there, you understand? They're firing, you understand? Cliff Richards. And there's a bag of them who are up, big, ripe men. And they're up touring, performing, and they love it. And you understand? They've got their fans have rigged with them. You understand? So some of their fans are the same age, but then they've also got younger fans that they've collected along the way as well. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like this. Artists, again, it gives you a different voice. MC gives you one voice. Artist gives you a different voice. Again, I'm about change. I want to enlighten people. And MC gives you one type of thing. But I'm trying to go international, and I want to be like recognized around the world. And I want like what I'm saying to kind of, not when you're an MC, it doesn't stand for the same thing, but it's got a different volume when you're an artist. You understand? MC is kind of, it's not, MC isn't really looked and regarded around the world. In the UK, yes, MCing is something that we do over here, and it's kind of, people get it in the UK and certain other places in Europe, but it's not really, they don't really get it right around the world.
It's not the culture.
Yeah, it's not their culture. Whereas an artist, people understand an artist, they know what it is. It's like that, set. I can go to a club, MC lyrics for the hour, I don't even know what I've said. Like, in what order, let's just say, it's just random, like, the lyrics come out and it's like, it's a freestyle, our sets as a DJ MC duo is a freestyle, obviously we know our lyrics, we've got pre-lyrics from God knows when, but generally it's a freestyle. As an artist, you're gonna go there, you've got your set songs, your order may change of your songs, but you've got your set songs. If someone says to you, sing that song, you could sing that song, you understand? MCing is a bit different, you understand? So it's similar, but it's different. And as an MC, it gives you a bit of a broader horizon. People take it a bit more serious, you understand? And it gives you that extra bit of levity. So that was a conscious decision to say, you know what? Let me try to hang up the MC to a certain extent, which has been very difficult, and I've never been able to do it. But it's like I've been able to transition. I did stop it for a time. That gave me a time to learn the craft of being an artist. Because again, people think you're an artist. No, you're not. And this is why the UK is still trailing behind a bit when it comes to music artists. The quality, the levels are good, but actually an artist, being an artist, what is an artist, and understanding that and understanding the craft and the trade, you understand? We still haven't mastered that over here yet, but it's coming.
So can we safely say that you are rebranding yourself and reinventing yourself? I guess that's one of the ways you stay relevant, because you're seeing now you want to broaden your horizon. So I want to tie that back into a Heartless Crew. when you started Heartless Crew, your vision from secondary school, you wanted to be known into the world because you fell in love with that energy you got when your brother brought you on. As a business, because I know as Heartless, you lot went through a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
How important is it? Because I've been in a situation with people, friends, that I want to do something. And I said, look, we're going to do this, but we need to put contracts in place. But because we're boys, they're not, they're not understand. Coming from you, you are leading what you do. You've been there, you've done that. How important is it for young artists out there who are doing what they're doing to understand the paperwork and protect themselves legally? Not in the streets, because I know even you made it clear that I could have gone and taken that off him, but that's my brother. But not people, especially these days, the young ones, they don't process things like that.
Yeah.
How important is it to get sure the paperwork are sorted out?
It's a double-edged sword. It's very important. If I'm to just give you straight information, it's very important to have the back end sorted out and make sure that everyone understands what they're getting themselves into and agreeing to. It's the most imperative, and it can really save a lot of pain, headache, and heartache. You understand? That's a very formal way. Now, as a black man, and this is how we are as a people, and it's again like we've come into the Western world and adopted a lot of westernized traits, which ain't necessarily our traits, you understand? And those traits are the pen and paper and the contracts. And essentially, contracts are it can safeguard you, but really and truly, it's a form of trickery and bamboozle business. So when you're doing contracts, half the time, someone's going to be unhappy or someone is going to be at a loss if things go wrong. You understand? And it's like, because this is the way the Western world does their business. They're not doing business for the benefit and for the love of people. Now, and that's why I tell people in two styles. One, yes, if you're going to do business if you're in business, then probably you should have contracts, unless you've got something else in your mind. My thing's always been this: love over business, love over everything. So this is my own thing. But me doing this, I ultimately know, because I know thyself, me leading out with love means I'm going to be very susceptible to getting burnt and getting hurt, you understand? But this is where wisdom plays a big part. Knowing people, knowing what you're doing, knowing who you're working with, and having a spiritual connection. Because this is what black people, but everyone has it, but black people have got a different connection, you understand? So we've got that spiritual connection, but we're not using it and relying on our ancestors and relying on our strengths. We're using the strengths of our counterparts, which is the pen and the paper, you understand? So again, it's just knowing who you are, you understand? Me, I've got, even now, I've done we did actually have in place back then for Heartless Crew. This is why I don't even really rate the paper thing too tough, because it's sometimes it's not even really worth the paper it's written on, you understand? And it depends who you are, again, individually, but you have to know thyself. Some people don't give a monkeys about paper, you understand? So you could have them tied up in a contract all day long, you understand? They're going to say, up yours. You understand? It's not gonna. But then again, if someone does respect the paperwork and stuff like that, and you've got them in a contract and you take them to court, and they respect the law and the system, then you can win or they can win. You understand? But again, it's an energy thing, and it's a win and a lose, and it's a bamboozle, and it's a scam, contracts and all these things. Half of these people that tie up in all these contracts, it ain't for your benefit. It's for your disbenefit. You understand? So it's just knowing to now. We had a issue with Mo. And the name of Heartless Crew, you understand? And again, I acted and done what I believed to be right at the time, and I followed my spirit, you understand? And that meant not doing anything. That actually meant not doing anything. Although a lot of people were trying to mislead me and tell me to do this and do that and the other. That's what they wanted to do, and that's what they wanted me to do. But it's not what my spirit told me to do. So I had to do nothing.
That is, thank you for that. That's very powerful and insightful. Any regrets throughout your career? If there's one thing you could have done differently at this age where you are, where you started?
Not really. It's not about having regrets. I mean, there's things come to mind. Two things just came to mind there, but like, again, being old and wise and being where I am in life now, I really understand letting things roll out. And again, as I've got older and wiser, you realize things happen how they're meant to, things play out how they're meant to, you understand? So you got to roll and embrace and live and love, you understand? Like the two things that sprung to mind, because people are going to think, well, what was the two things? One, back in the days, people from North London, they know about Temple Club, Temple nightclub. Now, back in the Heartless's day, you understand, our like heyday where we was like peaking, we had the opportunity to lease the Temple Club, Temple nightclub, which would have been like a gold mine. And like, again, I've always been kind of on the pulse of things. Yeah, we had the opportunity to lease that club just before, if people remember when they was like clamping down the garage scene. Yeah. Remember they started to lock down all the raves and stuff like that? We had the opportunity to lease that club just prior to that. It's almost like man knew this was going to run. I didn't, but it's like almost. And the guys wasn't on it. They wouldn't, for the MO, I'm very entrepreneurial. I'm a risk taker. They wasn't so much so. And so, you understand? So that is one thing. Sometimes when we have our little, I said, oh, you know, we should have at the temple, we would have cleaned up. And the second thing, we had another opportunity to buy. This is prior to, now these things are quite popular, these gastro pubs, like good food, pub and kind of, not necessarily music, but yeah, there's gastro pubs. We had the opportunity to buy, or to invest, not to buy, to invest in one in Willesden Green back in the days as well. And now the area is quite an affluent area and stuff like that. And again, we passed up on that. So there are two things that spring to mind. But you know what? They're not regrets because everything's good, life's good. I'm loving it anyway. You understand? And again, you never know. You get yourself into that and it might be something else and whatever. This is the way it was designed, the way it's meant to be. So yeah, man, I ain't really got no regrets. And yeah, again, it's not even about looking back. It's like looking forward. I'm still young. I'm still youthful. I've got so many dreams and aspirations and ideas and things that I want to do. I'm still on. I'm out here, as they say, man. I'm on it.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Only two regrets, and they're not really regrets because the man is still achieving for greatness no matter what he does. Before we finish up, what else is in the pipeline?
I mean, my main focus now would be Bushkin Recordings, which is the record label you mentioned in the intro. Again, I'm a real strong, firm believer in building some pillars of our own, you understand? We need our own ownership, you understand, on things, you understand? Like music, ultimately, Bushkin Recordings, we aim to be, and we are the UK's #1 black independent record label. That's us. You know, so we're looking to build up our own thing and, you know, nurture our talent and do it the way we know best. You know, because ultimately every race and nationality and culture, they've got the things that they understand and the way they do things. In sense, and it's like we need to know ourselves and understand this and do the things we do our way. You understand? So it's like I understand black people, I understand black music, I understand black artists. Not to say that I don't understand white or Chinese or these people, but first and foremost, I understand black people because I'm black. So you understand? It makes sense, again, when you take colour out of the picture and you just look at common sense, what makes sense? It makes sense for me to work with black people, nurture black people first. Not to say that I'm trying to isolate or disinclude anyone, because I'm a lover of all people, I'm a lover of people, but just so happens I'm black, you understand? So right now the focus is, you understand, building up our black community, which by default is at a slight deficit as well. In the sense that it needs slightly more attention as well, you understand, which is good. So we're gonna give it the attention. So that is a main pinnacle. And again, in helping others, I'm going to be helping myself, you understand? And this is a genuine help. And when you're doing things like this, you don't necessarily need contracts. You understand? It's another gem that I've learned along the way, you understand? It's like if you're doing stuff genuinely for love and I want to do something for you, you understand? Then I shouldn't really worry what or how it goes. I wanted to do it for you. If I really did want to do it for you, a lot of people doing stuff for people, they didn't really want to do it. So then when it goes wrong or they don't like the outcome or the person never said thank you, they want to turn around. But remember when I said done this for you and all of that? And no, but no one asked you to do that. You wanted to do that. And if you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't have done it. You understand? Like I go through the door and I hold the door open for you and you come through the door and you don't look at me or you don't say thank you. I can't say, yo, brother, what on? It's not my business to say anything to you. You didn't ask me to hold the door open. I held it open because I wanted to hold it open. So now you've gone through and done what you're doing. I should be happy for you.
Wow.
You should be happy for me. And that if we do things like this, everyone should be happy. Because ultimately, we've got to remain happy. Happiness is the key. You should be yourself. You've got to make yourself happy, whatever that takes. You understand? So if I'm doing stuff for people, you understand? I'm doing it genuinely and it's helping them, and in turn it will help me. We got brand new hats just dropped out as well. Check out the website www.bushkinrecordings.com. I have to plug our little things. These are some exclusive tees. This is a prototype. These will be coming soon. But on the website we've also got the tracksuits and we've got the peace, love and pom pom condoms, because you don't know it's all about, you understand, protection out there, you understand? If you're gonna have kids and stuff like that, and I'm an endorser of family, you understand, and I love a family, but and it's not everything has to be planned, but at least try and know what you're doing, you understand? If you're just having fun, have fun and use your protection to have fun, you understand? If you're not and you're going down the road to have kids, know what you're doing and set it up right. Give them the best chance of success and give yourself the best chance of success. Amen to that, man.
Wow.
You understand? So
finally, last but not least, what advice would you give up and coming artists, up and coming MCs out there?
Know yourself. Before you even, my gran told me this and I laughed. I'm one of them people that I love a laugh at anything. My gran said, oh, please, she begged me, don't do music, don't get into music, do anything else other than music. And I would laugh now, grandma, like, you don't know what you're saying, like, where this and now, and I'm laughing with her. But as I got older and really understood it and saw what the music industry was about, I realized my grandma was so much more wise and knew what she was saying to me. I take everything as a joke. I'm one of them people that thinks funny to me. But I realized, wow, my grandma really knew what she's saying. Because the music industry is a very treacherous industry. It's like a snake pit. And a lot of the people in it are not very nice, they're not very genuine, they're not clean. And there's so many pitfalls, and you see it all the time. A lot of these artists, they mash themselves up via drugs and alcohol and partying too much and people not being genuine, and the girls and the money, and it's one big rigmarole. You understand? So know yourself. Is it for you? Everyone can do music, but is it for you? You understand? Is that your calling? Because if it ain't, leave it well alone. You understand? Please, I beg her. Same with my grandma begged me. I beg her, please, people, leave it alone, because just look around and you see a lot of these artists rise up high and then they fall further below where they was originally because it wasn't for them. They never had the character. You have to be I'm a very resilient person. My head is strong. From early, my grandma and my mum used to tell me, oh, this, you understand? But it served me well in the fact that I listen to myself. I do what I feel to be right. I don't take no check. You understand? So that's good for me, and it's very good in the music industry. If you haven't got that kind of character, it may not be for you. Even if you're the best lyricist under the sun. Because the talent in the music industry, especially in this day and age, is might not even be a third. Which is a shame that it's even like that. So you understand? So know yourself. If you're going to get into it, make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons. Enjoy it. If you are going to do it, love it, take it seriously. You understand? Really take it seriously. You understand? Because you can just get into it and get mid-sled, and before you know, it's like pillar to post, it's like boom, 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 and you've got next to you just spinning here. Oh. You understand? So, yeah, man, that's what I can say. You understand? Yeah, that's what I can say. Hopefully that sheds a little bit of light. I don't want to be negative and tell people not to do it, but just make sure it's for you. You understand? Because it's definitely not for everyone. Or you do it in a style that suits you. And there's some artists that I really commend because they know how to do that. Mighty Mo's one of them. You understand? Mighty Mo don't really step out of his zone, his box. You don't see him or hear him a lot of time because he's not like that. He's a very homely, cool brother. You understand? Nice. You understand? He's not in the mix-up and all the hype. Kano's another one like that. Kano, you don't see Kano. Kano, when it's his album time to promote, Kano's out there, does his stint, he does a 6-month stint, promotes his album, promotes his music, does his shows. After you don't really hear from that from Kano. It's very smart. He understands himself, understands his craft, understands his music. You understand? And there's more like that. Denzel Washington is like that. You understand? He's not out there in the media and the hype. You understand? But then you got others. You understand? Like myself, I love it. I'm out there. You catch me in a rave. I'm going raving tonight. I'm not working. I'm going out. I'm going out tomorrow. I'm going out Sunday. I'm going out Monday. I'm out. Yeah, but I love it. You understand? So it's like, yeah, cool. You just got to know who you are. You get me?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
there you have it. Know yourself. If a young man from North London, from a very young age, found himself with his brother, loved the energy, and from that point on, he decided to pursue that as a career. As he said, find what you love and you never have to work in a day. I urge you to find who you are. Take time with yourself. Really get to know yourself. Surround yourself with the right people. For all those parents out there, remember, although the child is still inside you, they can hear everything. Till next time. I'm going to say love, peace, and...
Pum pum.
I can't say that. So Bushkin.
Big up. Thank you, man. Nah, good.